Hello everyone, welcome to today's class. So we're looking at algebraic expressions. Algebraic expressions. So we are advancing in this mathematical series. So an algebraic expression is a mathematical expression or statement built up from directed numbers, variables, and mathematical operations. So what and what comprises the algebraic expressions? We have the directed numbers, we have directed variables, and then we have mathematical operations. Okay, so what do we have here? We see something like this, 3x plus 6y minus 8. This is an algebraic expression. Now, it mustn't contain the all the stuffs here. It mustn't contain directed numbers, variables, and mathematical operations at the same time. So it can just be one of it. It can contain two of it, or it can contain all of it. And now, what are the operations we are looking at? We have addition, we have subtraction, we have multiplication, we have division, we have bracket, and then we have indices. These are all mathematical operations. Okay, so 3x plus 6y minus 8 is an algebraic expression. I can tell you even 3x on its own is also an algebraic expression. Then 2y minus 6 is an algebraic expression. Then 7t plus 5 is an algebraic expression. These are all algebraic expressions. Now, in our next, after algebraic expression, the next topic will be what we call simple equation. So we'll see the difference between an expression and equation. In mathematics, we have what we call expression, we have what we call equation. Now, okay, let me just bring that in. The difference between expression and equation. Let me just put the difference. 2y minus 6 and then 2y minus 6 equal to 0. Now, what is the difference? This is an expression. This is an expression, while this is an equation. This is expression, this is equation. So what's the difference? In an expression, there is no equality sign, while in equation, you have equality sign. So that's the difference. So for today, we'll be looking at algebraic expressions. Algebraic expressions. Okay, so let's see what we'll be talking about in algebraic expression. The first part of it will be removing bracket and collecting like terms. Removing bracket and collecting like terms. So let's see what we have. Please, I need you to pay attention. This area of math we are going into now, we need to understand how to clear bracket. We need to understand how to clear bracket. Now, what do we have? 3 bracket x plus 1. When do we use bracket? Or why do we really use bracket? Now listen to the idea of what bracket does. For example, if I have x plus 1 and then I want to multiply this. If you see, this thing is not just, this thing is carrying two terms. We have x and then we also have plus 1. We have x and then we have plus 1. So if I want to multiply these two things, if I want to multiply these two things by, let's say, by 2, if I'm to multiply it by 2, I can't just say 2 times x plus 1. If I say 2 times x plus 1, it means that the 2 is only multiplying x. So this will give me 2x plus 1. The 2 here is only multiplying x and it won't touch 1. It will only multiply x without touching 1. But if I am to multiply x and 1, the correct thing to do is to say 2 bracket 2 bracket x plus 1. What is the job of this bracket? This bracket makes sure that anything that is beside the bracket, anything that is to multiply the bracket, is going to multiply everything inside the bracket. It's going to multiply everything inside the bracket. So 2 will multiply x, and that will give us 2x. And 2 will also multiply 1, and that will give us plus 2. So have you seen the difference? So this is why a bracket comes in. So when you start seeing brackets, understand that if you see a bracket, anything beside that bracket is what will multiply everything inside the bracket. Okay, so let's start solving examples under clearing of brackets. So what do we have here? 3 brackets x plus 1. Now we must take note of the signs. We've talked about multiplication of directed numbers and variables. So we must take note of the sign. What sign does 3 carry here? 3 carries a positive sign. X carries a positive sign. At this point, you must understand that numbers and variables, they all have their signs. So what do we have? This is plus times plus. So 3 times 3, or 3 times x, that will give us 3x. And then plus times plus, that will give us plus. Then 3 times 1, that will give us 3. And that becomes, now remember we've talked about that like terms. So these are not like terms. 3x and 3 are not like terms, so they cannot add. They can only multiply, but we are not multiplying here, so they cannot add, and that becomes our answer. 3x plus 3. Okay, we move to number 2. Solution. What do we have? 2 bracket 8 minus y. 2 bracket 8 minus y. What do we have? Of course, we have our plus here. Plus times plus here. Plus times plus, that will give us plus 2 times 8. 2 times 8, that will give us 16. And then plus times minus. Plus times minus is minus. And then 2 times y, that will give us 2y. 2 times y, that will give us 2y. And that is our answer. Okay, we go to number 3. Now look at this. This is another important part you need to see. Y minus 3 bracket 4. Y minus 3 bracket 4. Now what do we have here? This is like saying, the first one, if we add 4 bracket y minus 3, that's the same thing as saying 4 times bracket y minus 3. And now we are having y minus 3 bracket 4. That's the same thing as also saying y minus 3 times 4. This is still in a bracket, multiplied by 4. Multiplied by 4. So what do we have there? That means the whole of this is still going to multiply 4. This is still going to multiply 4, which is the same thing as saying 4 coming to multiply this. So it's still the same thing as 4 staying here to multiply. If we have A times B, A times B is the same thing as saying B times A. A times B is the same thing as saying B times A. 5 times 10 is the same thing as saying 10 times 5. So what do we have here? This will be equal to what? Let me clean this. Okay. So, all right. So what do we have? Now, of course, this is plus here. This is plus, and 4 carries plus. So plus times plus, that will give us plus. Y times 4. Y times 4 will give us 4y. When a variable and a number is multiplying, please you keep the number first before writing the variable. And then minus times plus. Minus times plus, that will give us minus. And then 3 times 4. That will give us 12. So, so 4y minus 12 is our answer. And then let's see this one. Please, you need to get this right. Many topics coming after will need what we call removing, will need you to be able to remove your brackets properly. Plus 2. Okay, so what is multiplying this bracket? This is like saying minus 3 times the bracket. So minus 3 is what is multiplying the bracket. Minus 3. So what do we have? Of course, what sign is here? Plus is here. So minus 3 times plus y. Let's see, minus times plus will give us minus. So 3 times y will give us 3y. So that means minus 3 times plus y is minus 3y. And then minus times plus here will give us minus. And then 3 times 2 will give us 6. So that's our answer. These are not like terms. Minus 3y and minus 6 are not like terms. This one carries y, this one does not carry y, so they are not like terms. So you cannot add or subtract them from there. Okay, so let's see what we have here. Solution. Example 5. Minus bracket minus 8 minus 2t. Now this is equals to what? What is multiplying this bracket? What's multiplying this bracket is minus. It's just like saying minus 1, but it's minus. Minus is multiplying the bracket. So we take it from there. So what do we have? Minus times minus 8. Minus times minus 8. Please, as you are starting this, be very careful. Don't be in a hurry to quickly finish. Take your time to multiply it carefully. Mathematics comes, I've said this time and time again, that mathematics, the understanding of mathematics and then your speed in mathematics comes as as a result of constant practice. So minus times minus 8, minus times minus 8 is equal to, minus times minus will give us plus, and then we have 8. So that will give us plus 8. And then minus times minus 2t, minus times minus 2t, that will give us plus 2t. So our results here will be 8. That plus 8, same thing as saying 8 plus 2t. Okay, and then what do we have here? Let's see what we have here. I think this should be our last question under the examples for this class. So minus 2 brackets 3y minus 5. This will be equal to what? Now minus 2, what sign do we have here? Plus. So minus 2 times plus 3y minus 2. You can be writing these things out, times plus 3y. What would this give us? Minus 2 times plus 3y. So minus times plus, that will give us minus, times 2 times 3y, that will give us 6y. Then minus 2 times minus 5. So minus times minus, that will give us plus. 2 times 5, that will be equal to 10. And that becomes our answer. So we've not reached the part of collecting like terms yet. In the next class, we will still be dealing with removing brackets. We are not done with removing brackets. So we'll still be removing brackets in the next class. We'll also see how to remove the bracket and also put the like terms together. So for this one, there are no like terms in this one, so we don't really have to collect the like terms here. But in our next class, we'll look at that. So that brings us to the end of the example. So you have your activities here. Please carefully multiply this. Carefully multiply this. You have 20 questions here. Please look at them carefully. Thank you for watching this video. Do well to like, to subscribe, and also share this amazing content to others. See you in our next class.